Hello guys, I'm actually back on my free-to-play once again because I want to show you some tips and tricks. And this video actually inspired by Lost Prophet that actually comment on my last video for a returning player guide. And I just wanna bring out some good points that he made, so it's better for you guys, and some stuff I missed and some stuff I actually overlooked. That's one of the reasons why I am on my free-to-play right now. Demonstrate some of this stuff. So let's say it's after reset and you log in for the first time during this day, and oh, I can go in here and start pushing. And while this happens, I push and I push, I get some stages completed, and then I start struggling. I lose too much power, or I don't have enough power to be able to beat the wave. That's when you go out, and I would of course have beaten these because I can push up way further. But what he's talking about are the instant AFK rewards. So what we want to do with these is, in the beginning of a season or when you're starting out the game, get as high as possible as you can during that first day, then use these rewards to get more out of it. And it's actually based on this income, so you will get 2 hours out of this. So based on this, you will get some of the rewards, or a couple of hours of instant AFK rewards. That's what you should do in the beginning of the season or when you're starting out the new account. Then when you get to a later stage of the game, it actually changes a bit, if you ask me. Because then when you wake up, you're only able to push maybe like 10-15 stages. So what I would do then, because these are kind of limited in how much progress they can give you anyways. So if you reach that point later on in the season or in the pre-season even, when you can't clear them, but you're really close to like upgrading your heroes. So let's say your account kind of looks like this, and you only need to upgrade the last hero in the Hand of Resonance to upgrade so all heroes have the same amount of levels. Then, in my opinion, this strategy changes to: you do as many pushes as you can here, and then when you get locked or can't push anymore, then you use them, and hopefully you get the resources so you can upgrade this hero as well, bring them up to the same level as everyone else, and that way you get a bit more power, and maybe you will be able to push even more. When you start the game or come into a season, you won't be very high, you won't get that much income, and using them early on that way is bad. But let's say later on, when you're getting stuck at like AFK stage 700 or something, the difference between you going from like 700 to stage 715 or 720 is not that much when you're claiming these rewards. So I would actually recommend doing that instead. So you upgrade your heroes and then you try to push even further. So that way you can increase this income, and that way you get more as well because you increase this. You'll be able to push like 20 stages. This one actually gives you more as well overall. So it's just a small difference like that. In the beginning you want to wait and get that boost and get as many resources as you can out of them. But later on to the season or later on to the pre-season, that doesn't matter as much. So you can do either way later on and it would be fine. And the next thing he pointed out, which is really good, is actually waiting until the end of the day when you're at gotten the most out of your resources. Or let's say the last time you know you will play that day. So I would probably wait a bit more if I would do this strategy right now. But what you could do is wait and get your fortune level up and get as many resources before you start crafting. This way you save your money, and also resources to be able to upgrade them higher. Because the higher your average gets up, higher you can forge. So here we have how they determine the season equipment. The average resonance level is 350 for me now, or the season max forging level is 350. So getting more levels during the day increases that average, so you can get higher equipment later on in the day. So that's a really solid point. Wait and upgrade your equipment until the last time you're gonna play that day. That way you get stronger equipment and you don't have to upgrade them a little bit and then upgrade them later that day as well. So that's a good money saver and also resource saver depending on how you're looking. Count is looking. And also this way you get the best attempt in like Dream Run as well. Because the higher equipment you got and higher level you got, the better you will go in here as well. So waiting with all that stuff until the end of the day is really strong. So I'm now on my other account because I want to show you how I've done in faction talents. And I've actually gone through this on another video. I'm gonna link that one in the top right. It will go more in depth to why it's looking like it's looking right now. Yeah. So in stage 1, everyone will basically go the same thing in the faction talents here. And what you go in faction talents is based on your account. Like, what is your strongest push team? Is it an Aaron team? Is it a Mauler team? Based on that, you should go into that. So you have to do a bit of research. It's hard for me to explain, but you need some major pieces for the different teams. For Aaron team, you... Let's see if I can actually show it in stage right now. So for example, here you have an Aaron team. I went into the wrong one. So here we actually have an Aaron team. We have almost Aaron, Arden, Erlina, Odie. This is just an example. Let's see. Here we find a typical Aaron team as well. Thoran, Aaron, Damien, Lily May, and Erlina. And sometimes you swap out the Thoran for an Almus. So this is just an example. But if your team is looking kind of like this, and this is what you use to push, then go in on the Wilders as heavily as you can. And let's see. For this stage, it wasn't actually a suggestion for Mauler teams. But if you're in the beginning of the season, it looks a bit different. But if your Mauler team is looking way better and you don't have that set Aaron team, or you don't have your Aaron at Mythic Plus yet, I would go into Maulers instead and try to max them out. So you can use Maulers to push further. If you have the Smokey going, OD, and so on, that would be really helpful for you. And the split, kind of looking like, you can pause the video here if you want to copy this. So in stage 1, this is how I went in on Lightbearers. I maxed out the Wilder factions, because remember, we need 40 total activations or activated to be able to go to stage 2. Depending on how your account is looking and the things I just mentioned earlier about either going Wilder or Mauler team, you should max Mauler or Wilder. But once you start getting to stage 2, basically all your accounts will be looking like this. And basically everyone is doing the same thing here. And here on the Greyborn, it's actually one of the last factions I upgraded. But we went down in the middle and we went on the left side. We grabbed this one because we needed an additional activation to get to the second stage that's down here. And then because this is a small spender account, I don't have a lot of Slisso and Hypergenes even upgraded yet. I have left this faction alone. I just left it alone. But of course, it's a bit cheaper to upgrade these later on to be able to get to the next stage where you need to activate 80 in total to be able to go to stage 3, for example. For a more in-depth to why I skipped on, let's see, why I skipped this passive, for example. go and check out my other video. It will be linked in the comments. It goes a bit more in depth to why I skipped it and why I went for it down here instead, because these passives are one and the same. It's just that this passive give more stats than this one, and unless they change this, the best route to do to save points and be able to go down as far as possible and get this extra talent buff tile, so you get better tiles in both Duress trials but also in talent trials and other modes where talent or faction talents are active, of course. And lastly, I will just quickly go in and talk about affinity stuff. See, do I have a hero with low affinity? Good. So here we have Sinbad, and I'm just gonna put in, and oh, we get some rewards for doing this. Really cool. So now I want to make him 1,300. So here, when we get there, we get 50 more diamonds and an invite letter. So in the beginning of the game, or if you haven't done this to all your heroes yet, you want to go out and spread them to 1,300. Like the most valuable thing you can do, because next one, to even get the next amount of diamonds, you need 1,700. And then to get to the next invite letter, you actually need 3,200. So spreading them out and making sure that all your heroes have 1,300 affinity is really good. And once that is done, you can of course boost some of them up to 4,500 and get that additional invite letter. And I would actually not use affinity on heroes that you sometimes put into battle, because they will actually get there eventually anyways. Like, it's not bad to getting them up to 1,300, but they will eventually get it anyways, because you use them in so many fights. They will get affinity for completing or being in fights anyways. So check Lily May, for example. I have a lot on her because I summoned her while she was rate up as well. Let's look at Cici instead. She's been with me for a while and she's at 2.1 thousand. So could boost her a bit more to get up to the 4.5. But I will probably just end up using her enough to get her there anyways. So there's no need for it. OD is basically used in everything, so you don't need to do that on him either. I think I did to 1,300, so I basically got in 4,000 infinity for just using him in all different bosses and fights. So save the affinity stuff for heroes you basically never used. Like, I've gone up on Amy. Yeah, I basically maxed them out, because I know I never used them except for when they were forced in the beginning in story fights. And sometimes you accidentally click them and that gives you affinity as well. But that's the end of this video. I hope these tips and tricks will help you improve the experience you have in AFK Journey. As always, thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.